This is the new snow effect in the Until Dawn remake. It dynamically deforms the terrain as the player maneuvers their avatar through the world. And it's a very good effect. Some of the best snow simulation I've seen. Normally, I don't care about visual effects, or graphics, really. I can appreciate that no one makes better looking games than Supermassive, but on a visceral level, that's never been important to me. I've gone on record as saying that amongst the literally thousands of video games I've played, there's only one time I felt that the ability to depict subtle facial expressions meaningfully added to character development and deepened a scene. That said, I was excited to see the snow deformation technology in the Until Dawn remake because its inclusion was an opportunity to fix a problem I'd always had with the original game. Actually, two problems. This could have been an efficient bird-killing situation had the developers understood the possibilities of their own technology. During the therapy sessions, one of the questions the Dr. Hill asks the player is whether they find zombies or clowns scarier. While this choice has a couple of impacts in the game, the biggest one is the mask that this scarecrow wears. The problem is that the game doesn't do a great job of directing players towards the scarecrow, so this butterfly effect outcome is a really easy thing to miss. I didn't see it the first time I played the game. In the PS4 version, the back of the lodge doesn't look exactly like it should. Specifically, there aren't any drag marks leading from the building to the shed, even though there really should be, given that Josh dragged Ashley along the path. Instead, there are huge splashes of blood everywhere, which is kind of to direct the player towards the scarecrow, but it also sends them up towards the shed. They're also a little easy to miss in the lighting, which is why I think so many people can miss the scarecrow and the pig's head clue on their first trip through the game. It's a little unclear how all of this blood got there, since Ashley isn't bleeding. I guess it's more pig's blood Josh spread during the hour that Chris was knocked out. Also, this isn't important, but it's crazy that Chris was knocked out for a full hour. I've really got to put together a timeline video at some point. So, the blood is a little confusing, and the scarecrow winds up being optional. But it didn't have to be. This is why I was intrigued by the inclusion of the snow deformation mechanic. I was hoping that the devs would add a clear drag trail from the back of the lodge down the false path, leading players right to the scarecrow. Of course, then you'd have to address how Josh got Ashley to the shed without leaving a trail on the main path, but that's an easy enough solve. You just have some marks going into the woods, and then you zoom in on the shed in the distance, so the player will know there's another path they should be going down. It would have been a simple solution. Instead, here's what happens in the remake. Not only are the fake blood trails gone, there are no marks of any kind. Chris walks out into completely pristine snow, not only leaving him with no indication of which way he should go, but raising the question, how exactly did Josh drag Ashley all the way from the lodge to the shed without leaving a single trace of the trip? It's not like the devs don't understand the narrative possibilities of pre-existing footprints. After all, here's Emily and Josh's footprints leading from the parking area to the cable car station. I mean, I assume these are Josh's footprints. That's got to be his pickup truck, since he's always carting pig carcasses in, right? The snow in it means that it's been there for hours with a cold hood. And it's not like Matt and Emily took separate cars. Or maybe they did. I don't know, the parking lot's kind of a mess. The only set of footprints comes out of the passenger side of Emily's car, but the passenger side has a bunch of stuff sitting on the seat, so somebody probably wasn't sitting there. And the footprints from the truck come from like underneath the truck, not from where you'd get out. It's all very weird. Oh, and before anybody suggests that new snow could have covered the tracks in the hour that Chris was knocked out, there's no strong winds, and it's not snowing heavily. Even in a snowstorm, the marks of a whole person being dragged would take hours to disappear. So the devs had this new snow technology in the game, and not only did they not use it to direct players to a darn good jump scare, they also messed up and allowed it to create new continuity errors. In the original, you wouldn't pay much attention to a detail like this, but by adding such a showy new technology like snow deformation, you create the expectation in your audience that you're going to use it in thoughtful ways. If only they'd had some kind of a consultant who was an expert on this game specifically, and the whole narrative adventure thing more generally working for them. Just putting it out there, Sony, I don't know that you're definitely making an Until Dawn 2, but if you are, I'm available and reasonably priced. Just putting it out there. For now, though, I've been the Hidden Object Guru. Thanks for watching. If you had a good time and you'd like to see more, there's buttons coming up to help with that. Questions, comments, topics you'd like to see covered in upcoming videos, go down in the comments section below the video. Play my game, Clown in the Woods. It doesn't have any fancy technology unless you count the ability to have characters get dimmed when they're not the one talking. Fancy. Which you probably don't. I'll see you back here for more Until Dawn videos, but until then I'll say that's right. Au revoir.